Gold Coast and West Coast now. Gold Coast, it was basically the Took and Rowell show, particularly Rowell absolutely outshone Took. First time, I think, in was it 30 rounds or I don't even know what it is. It was quite a few, but Took Miller didn't get 30 disposals. He got 29. So he'd now finished on top of the table for the most consecutive games with 30 or more disposals, and that run has now ended.
It got
That
robbed
being
too.
said,
That kick at halftime didn't count.
didn't count, and he
Mm,
actually got done holding the ball in the last quarter. Now I'm going to talk about this one. So I had a bet with a mate of mine,
mm,
and generally I don't like to bet heaps, but I had this was more exciting than the game, so that's why I'm going to tell you the story. Um, Basically, we had it. I'm like, right, you got Round, you got two killing it, you got them playing St Kilda. I mean, a bloody West Coast midfield that sucks, right? There was a Gaff and Redden. That's pretty much the two prong show. So I made him a bet. I was like, oh, I said, Rail and Tuke will go 300, and he wanted to take a bet. He goes, I'll take the bets on overs 300. And I was like, oh, geez, that's tempting. So we reflected on it, and then I went back to him the day or two later. I said, right, let's make this bet. So it was like $100 ball of scotch. So not a cheap bet, right? Basically, if I win this, it pays for my bets with Chris this year if I lose, basically, right? So anyway, I was like, and I was so uneasy about this because there was like in my head, I'm like, if Real goes 120, then Tuke has to go 180. Do you know what I mean? So the less Real scores, the harder it is for this guy to win this bet. But I was still uneasy. And I was like, right, I'll take the bet. And that second quarter, they're chipping away. I think they're on like 160 something at halftime. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. All right. They're ahead of the time. And then that fourth quarter, basically, it was like halfway through the fourth, 10 minutes of actual game time to go. And he was like 30 points off beating me. And I'm like, it's over. Game's over. Game's cooked. Get to the end. I think he needed I think he needed like 9 Supercoach or even less. Maybe it was like 6 Supercoach points left. Took gets the ball literally right in front of the goals. All he has to do is he looks kind of like he's going to get a handball off. All he has to do is handball it to a teammate or just put it on the boot, get a point, get a goal, do anything. Could have put it on the boot, 10 meters out from goal, if that. Anyway, someone puts a hand on him, tackles him, drops holding the ball, and gets a -4. And then the scaling's there. I'm ahead. I was like, oh my God, there's still like quite, a little bit of scaling. Took and Rao could get scaled up because they were the most influential in the park. And Wits went up like 4 Supercoach points. Rao and Miller did not. We're just refreshing it every minute. Refresh, refresh, refresh. So I ended up winning by like 6 Supercoach points and got the bowl of scotch. So I'm extremely excited about that one. It was very dramatic. Swizz here, the asshole, kept tweeting, sending me a message, giving me an update. 296, Benny, or 240. Here he comes. 250. Are you nervous? So I just kept, and I had about 3 different people contacting me because everyone knew what the bet was. So extremely excited. Matty Rowell just, absolutely a freak. Inside outside contested. Just even didn't even have to do too much, as he still worked really hard. Didn't have his best game, but Anderson came home strong to fill the void. I think he got about 24 touches, as was also influential. Wits, I think, held his own extremely well. The other one for me, I think, was Weller stunk it up. I don't know what that was about. I didn't really see him too much, but Rankin I thought was very impressive and looked dynamic, back to how he should look. And obviously won't kick a bag of 4 each week, but I thought he was very pivotal to them. Gold Coast should have won this so well. They played shit. They kicked shit. They looked bad. And the funny part is that I actually made the first bet I did all year, actual bet, not just with people. I put money on Gold Coast to win by more than 7.5 points, and I hated my life. I was trying to subsidize the fact in case I lost the bet that I'd make a bet, and it nearly ended up really badly. Where I was like, "Why am I doing this? Why am I betting? It's so bad for you." So yeah, there
Yeah,
you go, Swizz.
I was the same, mate. And my backup bet got up, that which had the Suns involved 1 to 39. But my multi, I had out Brandon Ellis for 20 touches, 19 touches, and I think there was a hold in the ball decision or something with that one as well, which would have got him the 20. Goes to the bench for the last 5, 6 minutes and doesn't come back on. I'm going, you're freaking kidding me. I've got this 10 leg multi and I need Brandon to get one more fucking touch and he couldn't get it. He still keeps disappointing me, even though he doesn't wear the yellow and black anymore.
And I
I
think I
thought,
told
well,
you at one point, I think Anderson was running with the ball and he's running beside him, like, yeah, give it
yeah,
to me. And
yeah. All we
Anderson's
had to
like,
do
no,
was
I'm just going to
handball to
kick it
him.
in. Yeah, that could have been
Fucking
one
hell.
where Anderson kicked it side of the boot and they got a mark inside 50 or something. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Anderson had one of the worst 100-point games you'll ever see, and that he was fucking atrocious in the first
He
half.
was horrible.
Will Powell did things I think he's one to look forward to as we because he's always going to be that defender halfback. And we said this with Bowes out that he'll be the man. So definitely an option to continue to look at as possible sort of D6 guy. He looked good. And Davies, the problem with him, if we didn't have in any other year, if we didn't have Dacos and Horn Francis and Ward and that, this kid we would have been seriously looking at. What did he end up scoring there? 90? And that
90.
there was just moments in the game when the game was on the line. That I think there was,
He
he
kicked a
just walked
goal
through
to get
traffic.
him
That
right in
kick,
it, didn't he? Yeah.
well, he definitely set one up.
He
And
kicked one
that,
as well.
so he did, yeah. So I thought he looked really good that in the crucial moments. More that super coach guy, you wouldn't want him in a fantasy, but definitely something that that he could actually be that option if you were sort of Barry Ward, depending on how he went next week. If he came out and got another 90 and that for at 200k or
Yeah,
that
20K up from Ward, bench
yeah,
option for sure.
that's right. So definitely so, and that's the sort of rookie nobody's going to touch because they're like, oh, Gold Coast, and they got all these other players and stuff like that. But yeah, he's a real smoky in there. So
1%.
yeah,
1%. And we looked at
yeah,
him in the preseason
we
too.
did.
So that's,
I was
definitely
really
someone
big on him. So yeah,
I'm
it's
tempted.
that mate. They were great. The annoying thing is when I did my team reveal, I had Wits in, and I took Wits out because friggin' Martin pulled out and put in Gorn and that. Yeah, I said this. Wits will do 130 or 140 in the first 4 games, and bang, first week comes out and does it. It looked fantastic, hitting down to Took and Rowell. Um, yeah, a tougher matchup this week against Gordon Jackson, so we'll be interesting to see how he goes there. But yeah, they did what they had to. They've never won over there, so I think it
You
was
know
a
what's
bit
funny?
daunting.
I could go Powell down to Martin and I could go Bruce up to Wits. Anyway, that's just a little
Yeah, mate.
side one.
Yeah, so that
Also
but
worth
the Sun.
noting is Foley as well. We need to touch on
Oh,
Foley,
mate,
244k defender. You are big on Foley.
I'm so big on him and that, and I fucking didn't do it too. So and the move was I was
98.
looking at Whitfield going down to Sicily, and I was going to put Hinge up to Foley because I was that game last year that Foley actually got to play some midfield time. He absolutely dominated Richmond. And the problem was, but Witherden and all the boys come back next week or the week after. So
Witherden
it's
this
really
week
hard to sit
suspended,
there
yeah.
and pick a guy and go, okay, I think he's still going to be in the side, but he's not going to have that free ball every week. But he showed it once with them. If he'd done it 2 or 3 times, I probably would have been more like, because I've got him in draft leagues sitting there. And, it's like I picked him up as my last pick and he's sitting there at my D5 in draft leagues. And, yeah, fantastic. So, yeah, no, I was happy with that. Apart from that, most of the other guys like McGovern, without King, it took the Suns a while to realise King wasn't there. They just kept kicking it to McGovern, and they had no idea. They're like, "Hey, Ben King usually stands there." So, he just had a field day. That Jones played a really good game, but it's really hard to get a read on any of these West Coast players
Yeah,
because
I think there's
they've
two
got
that are
all their
still
players come back.
relevant. Dixon for me now. Interesting, Darling will be back. So whether Dixon plays, whether they get rid of maybe Williams and Dixon plays backup ruck and helps with the forward sort of role. There's also rumours or talk that JJ Kate might not even travel much out of Western Australia this year. So we'll see that as far as team announcements this week. And the other one as well is Hoff as well. 47 Supercoach. Now the coach came out and said basically, you know, like he wasn't quite up for it. Do you know what I mean? So it was one of those ones where like he was okay, but you could tell he wasn't quite at the level that we needed him to be. So it's going to be an interesting one there. He could easily be in and out. So when you have Tim Kelly coming back in, also Shuey might be an in. So I expect that he could be definitely one of the first ones out. And the other one is I'm also keeping an eye on Sam Petrovsky-Seton and did a couple different things. So for draft leagues as well, I'd be keeping an eye on him. Not hard look at him, but I'd be just watching him on the sly. And I
Yeah,
think that's
so I
pretty
think
much it, Swizz.
Hoff goes out. Like Patrick Nash played better than him, and that I don't think we're going to see much of Hoff again.
Oh, how good's
Obviously, there's
Naish's
certain
mustache?
yeah, I
So good.
know. So yeah, I think there's a couple of that, but then that's the thing they've got to find possibly 4 or 5 other guys that are going to go out. So West Coast is just going to be one of those teams that I'd be avoiding. And we talked a bit about that with Freo, through the pre-seasons, like what they're the most likely to have border issues and lockdowns and stuff like that. So none of the West Coast players really appeal to me at the moment. And yeah, I think that's going to be a bit of the issue throughout the year. So I think for a team that I can see possibly even winning the spoon, they're not going to have a lot of relevance in Supercoach, unlike some of those other teams.
Oh, I thought they showed a little bit of fight in
Oh,
them
mate,
to not get the
the
spoon.
players they had, and that's sometimes what
I
happens.
thought they
Like,
stood up.
yeah, and that even happened a few games when Essendon had that the drug saga year,
Yeah,
and there was some games where like I remember going to Essendon Geelong and going there because I wanted to watch Geelong beat them by 150 points, and Geelong only got up there over the last quarter because sometimes it's those players that they stand up and they go, well, this is my opportunity. I'm going to show some fight
yeah,
because they're playing for their list spot every game. That so
yeah.
yeah, yeah, where
Giving
the
it
other
their all,
guys,
and then once
yeah,
once they start to get a bit tired and
right.
fatigued, and then if
And
things
that's
don't go
exactly how
right,
the
then you
game
can
played
get
out.
rolled.
Yep, and
Yep.
that's how the game played out. The big boys, your Rowells and your Tooks, just got Wits
Oh,
took control of the game. But I
now we
thought
did
West
say
Coast
with
really showed.
the last thing I'll talk about with Rowell, we did say because it is an awkward price point, but I couldn't get him out of my team because I know that he has the ceiling. And that's what I kept going on about because I was like, I just had to have him and Barry in my team. And I was going to get rid of a premium to then fix up other lines before I got rid of Rao because of the ceiling. And if Rao fires, he's someone that could go an M8 position. But I figured, even taking that aside, with his ceiling, even if I wasn't completely happy with him, as long as he stays fit and healthy and all the rest of it, his ceiling meant that he could have actually gone up and got you to 500, 550,000. He could have made you 150,000 to get to 500K just because of the ceiling that we know he has, and we just needed to see it. And the fact that we started him, and the fact that he came out with a 157, he's in 51% of teams now. Swizz, surely was that before the round?
Yeah,
That must
um,
have been a late swing because he was on about 33%, I think, and maybe after the last Amy series game, half the comp are now officially on him. Oh, maybe it's because of the same steel factor where we're like, oh, there's no defender rookies, so people started to shift their
yeah,
team and then
it shift the
put an
team and
extra
shift the
premium.
price. And I think it's because also a
Wow.
few because they went English or Wits or they went one of those ruck options. They found
Just
the
to get
extra
him in
money to go up to get Rowell as well. Yeah, for
50%. If
me,
you don't have him, that's
yeah,
harsh. That's a big
yeah.
lesson early on.
And for
Oh,
me, I didn't want to have Tuke Miller, who I'm huge. I think Tuke will be number one this year on the whole Supercoach. I don't want to watch Gold Coast games and watch Tuke dominate and then watch Rowell dominate and not have him. And that I
yeah.
just, yeah, I think they both absolute machines.
I like
Rowell,
the Bash brothers.
oh, they are, mate. And like the poll that the AFL put out today, which player would you take, Bailey Smith or Rowell? Like, what a stupid poll. Like Bailey Smith, great player, he's going to be a
Yeah, yeah.
superstar. But Rowell, we're talking about, Judd Ablett, Rowell. Like Rowell could be that good. We
Yep.
know he's what he can do.
And we
Um,
criticized his body as well, but then he got absolutely hit by Rioli up in a contest and then got up. Like, there's not much more toughness than that. That's pretty much a good body check or a good eye tester for as much as you can get. So, and again, most like so many contested, I think it's like 21 contested possessions or something stupid, absolute freak. So I think I loved it.
Talk about
And
home
I think
ground
that
umpiring there, mate.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's move on. That's wraps us up, guys. That's a
Yeah.
really long segment. I'll probably
Mhm.
break this up and do a series online and break it up game by game so that way you can find the teams that you want to hear about a little bit easier. And break up those segments that way. Probably the way to go. This one has a lot more. Now, it would have been good to have some Chris's insight, but I guess probably a good thing we're not here for 3.5 hours because Chris waffles as
Especially
he
with
does.
Collingwood winning
Love
this week, mate.
Oh, that's true. We missed that. But and the start of the season, particularly this week and next week. Next week's probably a bit more clear cut. This week it's sort of a oh shit, like do I need to correct anything or who to watch, particularly for the week coming. And we'll just go from there. But Swizz, thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you for sticking with me, and we'll catch you soon. Everyone can find you. You're going to release on your YouTube as well. You're going to release your team analysis today, tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, or something as the
Yeah, probably
teams get
tomorrow,
closer
mate.
to announcement. Yeah, now that we've done this for 2.5 hours, I think I'll do mine tomorrow as well. Appreciate it, Swizz, mate, and we'll catch you next time.
No, always good to chat footy with you, Benny. Catch you
All
later.
right, see you soon. See you guys. Bye.